For the next portion of our tour, let's go to the status bar at the bottom of your screen. First, you have Creative, that displays the models of creative sewing machines you have selected when you configured the system. If the machine that is connected differs from the configuration, a dialog box opens asking if you want to change the configuration, but only when you send to P-memory. Always use the Sync Machine command in the Machine menu. As you saw when we rotated the designs, Angle gives you the degrees of change only when Rotate is the active command. Stitch Number displays the total amount of stitches in your pattern. The maximum amount to store to the card is 10,000 per design. A single P-memory of the machine can hold only 8,000 stitch points. You can design larger stitches but cannot sew them through a P-memory. The actual number displays the numerical position of a highlighted stitch. The length and width of the stitch pattern are displayed in millimeters. We have changed our mode before. Click on the button for 9mm, Maxi, Small, or Large Frame to change the work area. The X coordinates represent the length, and the Y coordinates represent the width. 6 numbers in either direction, length or width, equal 1 millimeter of actual sewing. The automatic stitch shows that it is either off or on. The total number of extra stitches needed to progress the fabric in the design is shown after the function name. We'll go into more detail in this next example. Pattern sequences are so very useful. The tutorial in your instruction manual for designing wide borders, number 25, can not only be achieved in M-Design, but also in the P-Design section. From File, click on P-Design. In the status bar mode, click Maxi. Click the 09 button and type Program 205. Press Enter. Click the right mouse button, making sure the arrow is on the blank part of the screen. Click on the Zoom In icon. Use the left arrow key on the keyboard. Trace the pattern until the coordinate box at the bottom of the screen reads X108, Y108, or place the arrow at the top center point of the pattern and select the stitch by clicking the left mouse button. Click on the Machine menu. Select the Insert Stitch program. Select Program 76 and press Enter. Click on the new pattern size icon and type in stitch length of 12. Now select Proportional and select OK. Click the Move icon. Place the arrow anywhere on the stitch pattern. Click and hold down the left mouse button while moving until the pattern just touches the tip of 205. Release the left mouse button and click the right mouse button. The highlighted stitch should now be at coordinates X181, Y109. Click the Set Stitch icon and move the cursor to X147, Y71 position. Click the left mouse button and click the right mouse button to unhighlight. Move the cursor using the right arrow key on the keyboard to the X216, Y0 coordinates, or place the arrow on the last stitch of the pattern and select the stitch by clicking the left mouse button. Click the Set Stitch icon and move the cursor to the X148, Y0 coordinates. Click the left mouse button. Move the cursor to the X115, Y0 coordinates. Click the left mouse button and move the cursor to the X74, Y0 coordinates. Click the left mouse button to set the stitch and click the right mouse button to unhighlight. Click on the Send to P-memory icon. Select an empty P-memory and press Enter. Make sure the number 8 foot is on the machine. Sew the design, making sure the single pattern key is not selected on the machine. Let's do another quick exercise in the P-Design section, this time using curved connecting stitches to hide them within the design. Click on the 09 icon. Type in 56 and enter, or the scallop pattern you choose. Click on Maxi at the bottom of the screen. Click on the Set Stitch button. Zoom in 2 times to enlarge. Now, add stitches up to the center top of the scallop. Click the right mouse button to unhighlight. Select the Machine menu and go down to Insert a Stitch Pattern. Type 56 and enter. Click on the right mouse button to unhighlight. Click on the Set Stitch icon. Use your scroll bar at the side of the screen to move to the upper scallop. Add stitches up to the center top of the scallop. Click the right mouse button. From the Machine menu, go down to Insert a Stitch Pattern. Type in 56 and enter. Click the right mouse button. Click on the Zoom Out 2 times to reduce the screen. Click on the Set Stitch button and add connecting stitches from the end of the pattern to right side of the middle pattern, and then down to the right side of the bottom pattern. These stitches are necessary to have your pattern repeat continuously. There are so many possibilities with your creative Pfaff. You can even stack satin stitch hearts for a smooth and easy to trim border. Graduated sizes of a stitch can make a strong and clear design statement. A very easy technique for learning some of the features of your new software program is to take existing stitches from the machine and make them into new pattern sizes. Our first example will be the Flower and Vine number 182 that is originally a 9mm stitch. We'll make it into a maxi stitch on the computer. We'll begin by clicking on Toolbar 09, Open Stitch Program, and type 182. And press Enter. If the mode is in 9mm, the message on your screen will explain that the pattern in this case is too large for the 9mm work area and gives you the choice of either yes or no for changing the work area. We're going to make it into a maxi stitch anyway, so click on Yes. Do you see that the mode has now changed to maxi? Just what we wanted. Now, click the right mouse button to unhighlight the stitch. Then, click the left mouse button on the New Pattern Size button on the toolbar. A dialog box opens, and here you can type in the metric size, length 165. We have chosen the longest length available for any pattern in maxi mode. Then, click with your mouse on the proportional box to select it with an X. This automatically figures the correct proportion for us. Nice and easy. Click on OK. Click on the Zoom Out button on the toolbar so that you can see the whole design. Now, click on the Stitch Length button. The dialog box tells us that the maximum stitch length is 15.44 millimeters. Now the machine's maximum stitch length is really 6 millimeters, and that's a big difference, isn't it? The fabric must be transported around the design, and the program will automatically do that for you. Press Enter. Let's check the status bar for the automatic stitch. Click in the box. Now, do you see all the blue stitches in the design? This is how the design will sew out. These stitches do not actually exist until the stitch pattern is sent to the sewing machine. Therefore, the blue ones cannot be selected to move or change them in any way. Notice that a number is now at the end of automatic stitch, 195. That's the number of stitches that will be added to transport the design by machine. Take the 195 and add it to the stitch number to find out the true total of stitches as sewn by machine. Here you would have 141 plus 195 equals 336 total stitches in the pattern. Do you see that some of the stitches are very close together while others are not? You can change that somewhat through your stitch length button. Click on the stitch length button again. The 15.44 is highlighted, so that means you can simply type in the number you want. Let's try 2.0 first, okay? Confirm the entry by pressing Enter. Wow, what a difference! Do you see that the automatic stitches have decreased to 1? Do you see it there in the edge of the blossom? It fits in just fine. This will be a smooth stitch length to sew our design. It's always a smart move to save your work before going any further. Go to File and down to Save As. We will name it 182-165, the first number being the pattern number and the second the new length we created. And enter or click on OK. Do you see that the name of the stitch has changed at the top of the screen? We made more sizes of the design following the same procedure and saving each one of them separately to their own size name. If one saved a new size by simply clicking on the Save button on the toolbar, what would happen? That's right, only the last one would be there because it overwrites on the same name. Sometimes you might want to do that, but we wanted a coordinated set. Continue using the number 182 on your screen. Save by each of the following sizes: length 134, length 101, and length 73. Go to New Pattern Size each time to change sizes. I'll do one more for you, and then you can complete the various sizes at your leisure. The steps are: click on New Pattern Size. Type in the new length, 134, and press Enter. Click on Stitch Length and type in 2 and press Enter. Go to File and down to Save As and type 182-134 and press Enter. It's just that easy. Now you're ready to transfer the designs to the P memories of your machine. With your Pfaff connected to the cable and turned on, use the mouse to click on the to P memory key on the toolbar. Click on OK to send the enlarged flower stitch that is on your screen to a P memory. The other sizes need to be selected from the file. Click on File and choose Open. Choose the next size, 182 stitch, and send it to a P memory. Send each one of the group to a separate P memory. At the machine, select the P memory the first size flower is in. Use the number 8 presser foot to sew a test of the flower on stabilized fabric. Make certain the machine is warm and use K-balance to fine-tune the design. Here, While I Candlelight in silver was wound in the bobbin. Matching silver thread was used for the needle. Sew with the fabric wrong side up to create strong and clear designs on the right side of the fabric. The graduated sizes are outstanding the way they are used on the hem of this beautiful silk evening gown. For this design, the filling was done in a separate step as free motion embroidery. For these sewing techniques, please see the Pfaff 7570 video Volume 2 for complete details. Combining 9mm stitches together into a maxi design makes sewing intricate appearing designs so easy. For this design, let's use the flower pattern number 184 plus the scroll and leaves number 180. Click on the toolbar 09 button and type 184, then press Enter. Go to the bottom of the screen and change the mode to Maxi by clicking on the button. Click on the Axial Mirror button. Go to the Zoom In button and click it one time. Select Move on the toolbar and bring the stitch up from the bottom of the screen and place it toward the center of the screen. Mirror again with the lateral mirror. Click the right mouse button to unhighlight the stitch. Now select the stitch on the stem left of the largest flower by moving the arrow to it and click the left mouse button. Go to the Machine menu and select Insert Stitch Program. Type 180 and enter. Now select Move from the toolbar. Hold the left mouse button down and move the second design to the desired position. Click the right mouse button to unselect.
Move the cursor to the stem of the second motif. Now use the eraser to delete the extra stem stitches. Use the Set Stitch button and add extra stitches to redesign the stems.
That makes a very pretty maxi group, doesn't it? Let's name it. Go to File, select Save As, and type in 184-180 and enter. With your Pfaff connected to the cable and turned on, use the mouse to click on the Send P-Memory key on the toolbar. Click on OK to send the newly created flower group to an empty P-Memory. At the machine, select the P-Memory where it was stored. Use a number 8 presser foot to sew a test of the design on stabilized fabric. And, as always, make certain the machine is warm and use K-balance to fine-tune the design. Use mirror keys to turn the flowers as desired. They look very delicate on this special occasion dress, don't they? Sometimes combining stitches can make your designing go a little faster. We're going to use the PC Designer to create new stitches by dissecting stitches into the parts you want to use in a new design. We're going to take the Maxi pattern number 219 and combine it with a vine and some leaves. Let's begin by bringing in the flower number 219. First, click on the toolbar 09 button and type 219. Press Enter. Next, click the right mouse button to unhighlight the stitch. Now, click the left mouse button on the first stitch of the pattern. The status bar at the bottom of the screen will show the actual number 1. While holding down the Shift key, and at the same time holding down the right arrow key of the keyboard, this is fun to watch, it highlights everything over to the last flower. When the highlighting is getting close to the last flower, the arrow key can be clicked up and down to go one stitch at a time, while of course still holding the Shift key down. If it gets into the last flower accidentally, use the left arrow key to back up while holding down the Shift key. Using the mouse, move the arrow to the eraser on the toolbar and click the left mouse button. Magic trick, poof, it's gone. And then click on the toolbar mirror button. Now the flower is right side up on the screen. With your Pfaff connected to the cable and turned on, use the mouse to click on the 2P memory key on the toolbar. Click on OK to send the newly created flower stitch to the P memory. At the machine, select the P memory the flower is in and use number 8 presser foot to sew a test of the flower on stabilized fabric. Make certain the machine is warm and use K-balance to fine-tune the design. Now then, we want to have a leaf to go along with the flower. So at our computer, we will click on the 09 button. Answer no to the question, do you want to save the pattern? And type in 217 and enter. Using the same procedure, we will start with stitch number 1 and highlight the left 2 leaves, stem, curl, and flower. Click on the eraser to eliminate them. Then, highlight the remaining stem parts and large leaf. Click on the eraser. Save to a P memory by clicking on the Send to P memory button. Select the memory you want and click OK. When you are at your machine, use the mirror key on the machine as desired for your design. The flowers and leaves were combined together with stitch number 62 for the flower centers, and then the vines were sewn with stitch number 16. The stitch length was set about 0.9 for a nice satin look, and I used a width of 3 millimeters. You can use these techniques to create and combine all kinds of stitches. Frame or hoop embroidery designs can be most anything, from delicate to bold, from animals to geometric, but mostly they are beautiful. And we all want more designs, don't we? We'll go into the Paintbrush program that comes with all Microsoft Windows programs and get creative easily. To open the Paintbrush program, click on the minus sign in the upper left-hand corner. Double-click on Switch to. Now, double-click on Program Manager. Find the icon of Paintbrush and double-click to open it. We will only be doing the simple, basic designing of a circle. Please see your Paintbrush instruction manual if you are not already familiar with the program. We will be using it to make a patch or border around the design. To make a BMP file in Paintbrush, go to Options and click on Image Attributes. In the color box, click on Black and White and click OK. From the tools on the left, click on the Open Circle. On the line width, go down and click on the widest one. From the bottom bar, we need only black and white. We want to make a circle that will fill our area. So, click and drag the mouse from the upper left-hand corner until it fills the work area. Easy enough, wouldn't you say? Filing it to find it automatically in your PC Designer program is usually best. Click on File, Save As, type in Circle. Click on BMP. Find the directory that is PCD-Win and double-click it. Then click OK. Now that we have both programs open, we will switch back to the PC Designer by the same method. Watch. Now, click on Design, click Load BMP File, go to Circle BMP in the file and click on it. Now we have our circle in the work area. We will let Auto Trace do the work for us. Click on Large Frame. Click on Tools and then on Auto Trace. Leave the pixel width at 4 and OK. The Auto Trace will take a minute. Because we have a wide line width and are using a 4 pixel with it, it will treat it as an area. So we have an inside circle and an outside circle. Click Max Stitch Length. Change to 2.0 for a smooth circle. Check your status bar for width and length. They need to be very close to the same for the circle to be sewn out round. Use new size to make it whatever size circle you want. Use non-proportional to make it an oval shape. Click on Fill In. Use the automatic default A. Change the density to 0.2. To select the inside circle, start at the crossover. Click on the stitch. Hold down the Shift key and arrow key to go clockwise around the whole circle. Then enter. Now click on the outside of the circle. Again, hold down the Shift key and arrow to go clockwise. Then enter. Amazing, isn't it? Save it as Satin-CQ. Do you see the star shape around the lion's mane? This was made the same way. Great use of design tools. The color bar is at the left of the work area and is only available for frame stitches. You can change an existing color of the pattern. Let's change this black circle for another color. Go to Edit, click on Select All, and now click on Blue. Would you like it to be red? Click on Red. Would you like to see how it looks on gold fabric? Go down to the bottom of the color bar and double-click on the blank space. Now a color dialog box opens where you can choose the new background color. Click on Gold and click OK. You can play with all manner of color combinations. Now, highlight a small section. Go to the color bar and click on green. It replaces the highlighted color. To replace an existing color, go to the color bar and double-click on its color. For example, red. A color dialog box opens for your selection of a new color, for example, navy. Click on navy and click OK. All stitches having the old color will be colored in the new color. Let's use an outline file for this next fill-in. Click on the Open File button. Go down to kitty1.pcs and double-click. Before we continue, let's double-click on the background and change back to white. OK. We want to fill in. Click on the Fill In button. Change to B Fill In and change the density to 0.2. The angle at 90 will be fine. Click OK. Move the arrow pointer to the center of the kitty's forehead and click. It will take a few minutes. Simple, isn't it? We will accept it. Before you unhighlight it, click yellow on the toolbar. Do you see where one part of the ear is not filled in? Click on the Fill In button and OK. Click in the small opening. and accept. Change the color to yellow. Wouldn't it look cute with a pink nose and ears? Click on Fill In. Everything is okay. Click on the nose. Accept. Click on pink in the color bar. Now for the ears. Go to Fill In and change the angle to 45. And OK. Click in the right ear. Accept and click on pink. Fill in again. This time, change the angle to 135 and OK. Click in the left ear. The outline is not recognized. We need to redefine the area in order for it to fill. There are many ways to do this, but an easy one is to add new temporary stitches around the area. Go back to Fill In. Click OK and click the mouse in the middle of the ear again. Accept. Change the new stitches to pink. The change of angle is just perfect for the ears. Highlight and then erase the extra black outline. We continue in the same manner, filling and fixing the outlines of the eyes and then changing them to green. It's a good plan to save the work as you go along. Go to File, Save As, Kitty A. To have our design sew with the outline last, we need to know how the order of the color bar works. The computer only sees the colors as numbers, and it selects them in sequence from the top to the bottom. The first color you have chosen to use at the top of the bar will be color 1 and on down the list. We'll double-click on black and change the color to dark gray, that is toward the bottom of the color scale. In this case, it's below all the other colors selected and will be the last to sew. We're going to sew our little kitten on this sweatshirt. Mark the center of the shirt. Use a water-soluble stabilizer on top of the knit to keep the stitches on top. Use a cutaway type stabilizer underneath the sweatshirt in the hoop. This is to keep the knit from stretching out of shape in the hoop and also keeps the embroidery from stretching out of shape later. Additional stabilizer is needed for these thick and rich embroidery stitches. For more hooping and stabilizer information, please see your authorized Pfaff dealer and the videos for the 7570. We will send our design to the card by clicking on the To Card button. At the machine, press the card key. Select the kitten. For the least starts and thread changes, select each color to be sewn independently. We started with color 1. When it finishes, we'll select color 2, rethread, and sew it. We'll continue choosing, sewing, and changing until we finish all the colors. finished it with a bow. When you use the mirror tools to create designs, the program changes the order of stitching. If you sew it and see stitches like these sewing on top of the satin stitches, use the command under Tools to flip order. The results will be much prettier. Another example of this is our enlarged and filled in anchor. Can you see the extra stitches crossing over the design? Here we used flip order. Now it looks great, doesn't it? Making designs that have repeats of the same motif can be made super simple by using the standard edit tools. For an example, open File, select Jewel. It's a simple, clean outline design for the frame. We'll place several of these in a circle to form the jewel. When you first bring a design from the file, it will be highlighted. Go to Edit, go down to Copy. It will copy everything that was highlighted onto the invisible clipboard. To add it to the design, unhighlight what is on the screen because the Paste command will replace it all. Click the right mouse button. Go to Edit. Go down to Paste and click on it. Can you see the dotted lines of the new design? With it still highlighted, click on the Rotate button. Use the mouse to reposition the new design piece. Click Move. Switch back and forth between Move and Rotate until it's positioned the way you want it. Continue the process until you have finished the whole design. B-filling with structure stitch was used to fill this design. It could have had a different color for each section, couldn't it? Just as there are many different kinds of computers, there are many types of scanners. Use yours according to your owner's manual. It must be able to save to a black and white, uncompressed BMP file. Other than that, any scanner will be fine. Whatever scanner you have must be all hooked up to the computer before loading the software. This hand scanner has 3 settings on it. DPI stands for dots per inch. The lower the number, the cleaner the scan will be. The ideal setting is 75 or 100. This scanner doesn't have 75, so we will use 100. The next button is the setting for photo or text. Choose text because this is black and white. The light-dark setting will need to be adjusted for your artwork. If it's a pencil drawing, adjust a little more toward dark. If it's a clear line drawing in black and white, like our fish, set it in the middle. If you try a scan and it picks up a lot of extra texture, set it lighter. You can scan an actual picture that is in color. The text or black and white setting will register dark colors as black and light colors as white. This is something you can experiment with. Open your software program. Use the Switch To feature to leave PC-DESIGNER running. We are using Logitech PhotoTouch. Under File, select New. The document reference in this program is to be set to Source. Document type is to be Line Art. Go to File again and select Acquire. Set the scan height to 7 inches. Click on Scan. The light will come on. Look through the window to line up the design. Hold the button and smoothly drag the scanner over the drawing. The surface used for scanning needs to be quite smooth. Press any key to tell the scanner it is finished. All scanners have tools that you can use to clean up around the design. If there are too many dots, etc., try resetting the scanner and acquire it again. Crop the design closely. All space that surrounds the design will be saved as part of the design. Go to Edit and down to Crop. Now let's save it. From File, choose Save As. Type Fish. Drive C is correct. File format needs to be changed to BMP. Be certain that it is not a compressed file. Change the directory to C:\PCD-Win and click on Save. Now, let's go and find it in PC Designer. Click on Switch to. Click on PC Designer. Click on File, New. Click on Design in the menu and go to Load BMP File. And there it is, our fish. Double-click on him. Now, click on a color in the color bar. You can use your Auto Trace tool in any color. It's good to save your outline as a separate design to fill in any way you please. Here the fish body is saved as one color. The details were saved as a separate design. The two designs were combined into one design. This can be done if there are not too many stitches in the design. Isn't this fish adorable on this little jumpsuit? You can make your own large filled-in alphabet letters as we have done here. Go to Paintbrush and choose Text. Go down to Fonts. You can have your choice of any style listed. This one is Times New Roman. Under Style, click on Bold. In the size box, scroll down to 72 and click OK. Click on the ABC Letters tool. Click in the Work area. Type the letter or letters you want. The Y was saved into a BMP file, brought into the PC Designer program, auto-traced, enlarged, slightly redesigned with wider bars at the ends, filled in with B fill-in with structure stitch set at 180 degrees, and finally outlined 3 times for emphasis. In the Machine menu, under Alphabets, you not only have all the letters from the machine, but large script satin stitch alphabet, as well as monogram letters. Click on the alphabet of your choice. Open a new file. Type a letter A. The automatic default will always start in the lower left-hand corner. Use the Move button to reposition it on your screen. Click on the color you want it to be. Use the Rotate button and the up arrow key to change it 15 degrees. Press Enter. Unhighlight by pressing the right mouse button. Use Set Stitch and add 1 stitch to the next position where you want the next letter. Type the letter B. Click the color blue. Click the right mouse button. Click on Set Stitch. Add a stitch about even with the A. Type the letter C and click on the color green. Click Rotate and use the down arrow key, this time to change it by 15 degrees. That will be 345. Press Enter to confirm. Use the Move button to bring it to position. You can write anything you want so rapidly, like this Pfaff with spools of sewing thread in many colors, or labels for your designs like this clever eggplant design with all its curlicues. Just take a look at this precious little Valentine's dress with all the cupids in many sizes. You can really get your message across, can't you? What little girl wouldn't love to be the Valentine princess? Who could resist a song in your heart and a bluebird on your shoulder? The bluebird's wing was filled in with B structure stitch, while the leaves and branch were filled with A fill-in for a smoother look. The bird's body and head are B fill-in without structure stitch for an overall pebbled texture. This is a wonderful hummingbird quilt. The hummingbirds are original designs, and the flowers are from cards 1 and 2. Isn't this an inspired way of combining existing embroidery stitches with your newly created ones? A special tip for when your design has small isolated areas within larger areas. An example of this, eyes. How do you get to them without those crossover threads? Do you see on the kitty? The crossover threads were moved to become integrated into the design. From the outline, the stitches go over the cheekbones, around the eye, down around the nose, make a smile, and up around the other eye and cheek, and back across the face, and back to the outline. Sometimes you might even want to change the color of some of the crossover stitches to match the area they're crossing. Using textured threads will also give your designs variety. The squirrel is in the loony thread and the acorn is sewn in alcazar. On behalf of Pfaff, I thank you for joining me. I do hope you enjoy your new designing techniques when you work with everything from enlarging and filling in existing stitches from the machine, like the Panther number 196, to drawing and scanning your own original designs, like the carousel horse. Most of all, I wish you many pleasant hours of designing and sewing on your fantastic Pfaff machine.